Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of SlamDown here on Pens of the Mind. This is the combination of our Slam Tube and Final Countdown programs, where we count on the top 5 of something related to wrestling.
Timeout? We've never done a slam down.
What do you mean?
This was meant to be the first slam down, and it was meant to be a couple of months ago. Then we couldn't do it. That's why we've done the theme now. Because you introduced it as welcome to another episode.
No,
Slam down.
we've done SlamDown before. I'm relatively certain we have.
No, our first one's going to be WWE Returns.
I don't think that's maybe. I don't know. I could have sworn that we had done this before.
Because we're going to do WWE Returns for the Royal Rumble as it was the first one without 2 pay-per-views.
November 27th, top 5 Survivor Series matches.
Yes, but we didn't say that was a slam down, did we?
Yes, we did. That was listed as a SlamDown. Same with top this one and that one. So technically, those are the that was the premiere technically.
Because at the time we said that was meant to be a slam tube.
Oh, okay. Maybe we introduced this that, but well, if we haven't done this before, welcome to SlamDown, the show that we have started where we've combined our Final Countdown program with our regular Slam Tube program in order to create a show where we count down the top 5 of whatever wrestling topic we feel like counting down that week. Month.
It's the final tube.
Something like that. I just realized it is hang on, it is getting incredibly dark in here. I apologize. Let me just. There we go. Okay, much better. So today we're counting down the top 5 returns in WWE. These are instances in which a superstar or superstars or divas returned from an absence. They had to have previously been in WWE. What's that, Mo?
There is no divas, only female superstars.
Fair enough. Superstars, male or female, or groups. They had to have previously been on WWE programming or WWF programming, as the case might be, depending on age, and be returning to it. And their return must be, it must be relevant. Things like, for example, Hulk Hogan returning to save Eugene from Muhammad Hassan at WrestleMania 21 wouldn't really count. People showing up for a one-off, oh, Austin is going to stun somebody, that sort of thing, doesn't count.
Yep.
Yeah, but however, Hall of Fame returning for a Hall of Fame induction would count if that is the case.
Yeah, because that would be relevant and it would be impressive because it's like, okay, they're being inducted, it's honoring their entire career.
Yes. Okay.
Not just they need a paycheck.
Indeed. So, per the usual, we'll start with Mole.
Okay, let me use my finger scan to turn my phone on. Rotate it sideways.
Yes, you and your fancy Google Pixel phone.
Google Pixel XL.
Yeah.
Triple H.
Nice.
This was from Raw 2002. This was on my list for multiple reasons. Not because of him. One was because I really did actually want to see it, because it was promised to us at WWE Vengeance. Whole pay-per-view for Vengeance that just before this was all Triple H with a sledgehammer and did you forget me? Did you forget my name? Did you forget my vengeance? I mean, he's not there. It was when he tore his quad the first time. Yeah, when he returned after the music video of "It's a Beautiful Day," which was a great U2 song. Out, he'd been a villain for how many years?
Long time.
It was one of the loudest, if not the loudest, I've ever heard a crowd reaction for someone coming back. And it just got you hyped for it. Like, he hit his when he did it from the other turnbuckle, and he kept doing it because he was trying to get the crowd to shut up so he could do his promo. He's like, yeah, did you forget me? Boom, the crowd just goes loud again. He's like, oh God. And even he was getting choked up with it. It was just a great moment, and the crowd made that moment.
Nice.
That's why, because it's cool to see that after all those years as a heel, the crowd respected that he was at least entertaining.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, that one.
Very nice, yeah.
2002.
I've heard so many things about that.
Barry Jim's favorite.
He did. He did. Yeah, that was that return was unfortunately a little bit before my time. Like I said, I started watching around the Invasion, so that one was a little bit.
Invasion.
It was?
Because the reason he came back to crush your favorite is because he came back to win the undisputed title or the unified title, which the only reason there was the unified title was because Raw and WWE had already invaded and crossed paths when Triple H and Stone Cold were on the two-man power trip against, I think it was Benoit and Jericho. Oh, sure, and he got injured.
Right, I remember the two-man power trip. Okay.
Yep.
Fair enough. My memory is flawed.
It's cool. It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Excellent return, though. All right, so we're going to go over to mine. I have way too much shit open. Close this out. Okay, so my number 5 was actually the last one I came up with because I remember I'm like, yeah, that actually was really good. Speaking of the Invasion, by the way, the Invasion, of course, for those who might not be familiar, was a storyline where after Vince McMahon bought out the failing WCW promotion as well as the ECW promotion, the two allied under the auspices of being purchased by Stephanie and Shane, and started a war against their father of the WWF.
With Paul Heyman.
With Paul Heyman. And following this whole story...
They didn't have enough people, so they threw in all their ex-ECW people.
Yeah. And so, basically, after the whole invasion happened at WWF, finally at Survivor Series in 2001, finally won the right to be declared the winner of the war between the brands, and the alliance was considered officially defunct. However, on the following night, on the night of Raw, Monday night, November 18th of 2001, Vince McMahon came out to the ring to gloat about his success at being the sole owner of everything and being the grand winner. Until, woo! Ric Flair strutted himself down to the ring and informed Vince McMahon that prior to everything going down, Shane and Stephanie had sold their shares of the company to him. And, as Rick suddenly put it, we're partners! The hell was that? You're muted. You're muted. I can't hear you.
I said, don't you remember Vince when he kept doing his, because he couldn't believe it?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right. I forgot about that.
It was so stupid.
Well,
It also
it was,
worked out if you can see my ear, but still.
Yeah, but it was a good a fun twist. Like I said, I knew who Ric Flair was, but didn't know much about him because I never really watched WCW back during that time frame, even before the invasion. So, having been generally familiar because he's Ric Flair. I had heard of Ric Flair, but all of a sudden, less the impact of, oh my God, it's Ric Flair, more the impact of, oh my God, there's now somebody sharing ownership with Vince. How is this going to play out? And just the whole big reveal was just kind of a really cool thing. And the first really big reveal that I can recall, aside from, oh, look at guys from WCW are now showing up to help that you've never heard of. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so it was just really cool to have that big thing that kind of led into the brand split shortly thereafter. And that was just a big return and a lot of fun.
Yep.
And that was good. Back over to Mole for number 4.
Fairly recent.
I just realized I'm an idiot. I've been focused on you the whole time. I didn't show that picture. That was dumb. There we go. Okay, now the picture's up. Now we can go back to you. Sorry.
Thank you. But yeah, I said 2011 is this one.
Nice.
The Rock, because his return in 2011 was him coming back and then planting the seeds for what would be, in my opinion, a great feud of him v Cena. I know a lot of people didn't like it, especially the second time. Like, everyone loved it when The Rock won, but when he lost to Cena, boo! No, how dare the guy who comes back once a year and has never been there for, 7, 8 years? How dare he lose to the guy that's there every week?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, come on, The Rock won against Cena, then he won, then he lost to Cena. It doesn't matter, it balanced out. It was a great feud seeing him. And like The Rock v Hogan that came before it, wrestling past meets wrestling future, kind of.
Indeed.
I wouldn't really call Cena the future at that point.
Yeah, no.
I'd call him more the present, but still.
Yeah, it's still counted. Fair enough. Moving on to my number 4. And I know this is probably a Moles list somewhere. I put it on here. And this kind of goes along with the whole Ric Flair thing of the sort of thing of, I wasn't there when the guy was originally there and when he left. But even with my lack of experience in that time frame of wrestling, I understood the significance. I could feel the significance of this moment when it happened. And that was when Bret Hart showed up on Raw. Back in, when was that? Back on January 4th of 2010 to bury the hatchet with Shawn Michaels and generally put the whole Montreal thing finally to rest. That was a big deal, even for someone like me who wasn't around during the screw job. I knew the significance of that. That was just like really cool to see Bret out there, to just feel the air of that moment, you know?
Yep.
Very cool. Back over to Mole for number 3.
Just 'cause to me, this was cool as fuck.
That was cool.
Alondra Blaze or Medusa, as I preferred her in WCW, but I still liked the Alondra Blaze before that when I watched WWE when I was a kid. Into WWE to go into the Hall of Fame, that's huge. And it's like, okay, they've finally forgiven her. She's back on WWE. She's now appearing on stuff like, what the hell's that show? Freeze Dinner.
Table for 3.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Most of them aren't good.
And the fact that she pulled the title out of the trash and put it on the counter, that was pretty cool.
And it's just a cool moment overall to see her back. And it's like, oh, and they've accepted her. They've forgiven her. Which they've forgiven people for worse. I'm sorry. And to be fair, about her throwing the title in the trash, like, oh, she hurt women's wrestling. Vince was doing nothing with it. That's the only reason she left, is Vince was literally saying to her, we're not going to have a title. We don't need women's wrestling, so she left. That's the only reason. Vince threw it in the trash before she did.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, Alundra Blaze.
Nice. All right, moving along. This next one, now we're getting something that are a little more recent that I remember much more clearly that I can talk about. And one of the ones I remember that was kind of known, but it was still a big thing, was on April 2nd of 2012, Monday Night Raw once again. When we got to the end of Monday Night Raw program, and John Cena made his way out to the ring, and he began cutting a promo. And as John Cena cut his promo,
are you focused on you?
Oh, good call. Thank you. There we go. And upon cutting his promo, the audience began chanting for Brock Lesnar, who had not been seen in WWE for quite some time due to his stint in the UFC and other avenues of career. And it had been kind of rumored that Lesnar was in the city, in the area, possibly even in the building. But I really didn't expect that he was going to come out and do anything. I figured, oh, so the fans are going to chant Lesnar. It's kind of a cool thing. And then his music hit, and I was like, oh, shit. And then not only did he come out to a massive applause, he walked out of the ring, he just F5'd the shit out of John Cena and just left him lying there looking something like this. And I was like, damn, Brock Lesnar's back. Because Brock Lesnar, I remembered from his debut days in WWE and everything else. So it's like, oh shit, wow, the next big thing is back. This is a big freaking deal. And Brock has been generally dominant against everybody except Goldberg, apparently, since his return. So Brock Lesnar return, that was just really cool. I remember, because even though it was like rumored it was going to happen, I didn't really expect it to happen. And then I'm like, oh wow, that was a great night. I remember that. I was freaking out of that. That was cool. Back over to Mole. Mole, you're muted.
This was covered before, but my number 2.
Ah, yes.
Yep, 2010. Bret Hart coming out making peace with Shawn Michaels was just great, as that was a big rivalry when I was a kid. And yeah, I loved Bret growing up, and it was Bret from the advert with a little kid, and Bret would turn around, which I didn't realize was a American football advert. But still, Bret, and Bret was awesome. The first real, in my opinion, King of the Ring, because I think they had one before it, but Bret was the real King of the Ring, where they wanted to prove he was better than Hogan by having 5 different matches. Bret was a great superstar, and just seeing him finally come back home to WWE was just brilliant. Because I love WCW as much as people know, but they kind of wasted Bret. I will give that. I can be honest with that. They wasted him. So seeing him come back, and now we can actually go back to respecting his career and loving Bret is brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. Moving back over to me. So.
Jim's number 2, Tatanka, when he was Fat Tatanka.
No. Fat Tatanka was great, though. No, this one is one where you could have picked any number of returns, but they're all pretty good. It's Jericho, of course.
It was going to be the undefeated Snitsky.
No, those are good, too. This particular Jericho return, which is not a blurry picture, but I like this particular return, and this is the kind of the return where the running joke was that Jericho returning was the worst kept secret in professional wrestling at the time, because everybody knew that he was coming. Everybody had kind of figured it out. I think I had the image from the right return. I'm not 100% positive. It was hard to find, but it's for 2007. November 19, 2007, and it was a great moment where Randy Orton was in. Yeah, Randy Orton was in the ring, and we had seen these promos building it up, and you see there was a guy with an Olympic torch running into the building as part of the skit. The dude just gets clotheslined out of his shoes in the middle of the parking lot. You just see Jericho in that pose, and even the commentators were like, "That can only be one person," and I'm like, "Yeah, it is." And then the countdown and the music hit. He's on the stage, like, "Yeah, it's Jericho." That was cool.
And you did get the right return, Jim, because that's when he was. Because if you notice the vest, it's very reminiscent of his first silver coat that he wore.
Yeah.
Then after that, it was the lights, jackets, and stuff like that when he wouldn't talk and stuff.
Right. Yeah, I was getting confused between. I couldn't remember the one where he didn't talk. Was that the one with the creepy little girl in the classroom?
Yeah.
Okay. And then this was the Save Us 222 then. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's what. Yeah. And that was still cool too. Everybody's trying to figure the code out and everything else. Even though everybody kind of figured out it was Jericho, it was still really cool. That was a great return, and that was a lot of fun. Jericho coming back is always great. So that was fun. I like that.
I did like that return.
Now let's go to the number ones. I'm sorry.
I did like that return. No, all I said was I did like that return. I preferred his other one where he didn't talk, only because it was more shocking that it was Jericho. Because that one was kind of, come on, where's Jericho? Where's Jericho?
Yeah.
But it was still cool to see him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
My number 1.
Yes.
WrestleMania 20. Undertaker returned, which, to be fair, he's had a lot of returns as well. Each are normally grand spectacles.
Yeah.
But like, I love the one where he was like a coffin, it just blows open, he just steps out, and it's like, oh, it's cool. But this one was more important, at least to me, because it wasn't just a return. He'd been buried for Survivor Series beforehand by his brother, which is weird to say. Taker, and he returned as Deadman, which was so cool because I wanted to see the Deadman return, and he comes back. You're like, oh, it's so cool. He's got like the Van Helsing hat and coat. You're like, oh, it's so cool.
That was cool.
Just a great moment, because after that one, I think like WrestleMania 21 onwards was more when it started to begin who will break the streak. That one was less the streak or anything like that. That one was more, holy shit, Undertaker's come back. We just want to see him kill Kane. Come on, kill him.
Yeah.
The promos leading in up to it too, where the rings would shake and Kane would be in there, rain came down, just shitting himself was fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, WrestleMania 20, Undertaker returned as Dead Man, which is a return of the gimmick and also a return of him. Technically after like 3 or 4 months, but it's still counting. It's still a return.
Yes. That's cool. All right, and I'll bring it home. This one was mentioned earlier, so not a lot of build up, but there's a lot of returns. Even with Jericho's returns, you usually know he's coming. And it's really cool to see, but it's not a. There are very few moments with Dirt Sheets and anything else that happen. There are very few mark out moments in wrestling anymore, unfortunately. But truth be told,
If you don't read them.
well, it's true. But even so, there's a lot of you can kind of figure out some of what's going on. But Valentine's Day of 2011 was one of those moments for me because The Rock returned to announce that he was hosting WrestleMania, and that was huge. Because I remember I was sitting here watching. I think I was on headset with Marcus Shadow at the time, and we were watching this whole thing, and it's like. Maybe you were with us too. You might have been with us too. We were all talking, and then they tried to. Everybody thought it was going to be The Rock, but then they psyched us out by before the commercial break. They had a woman's legs come out of the car and walk toward the building. And it's like, wait, is it a woman? And we all got that down. And then the music hit. That already exploded. It's like, yes, it's The Rock. It's The Rock. And they just started. He came out and cut his Rock promos, which was very contrasting to the style of the time, where he came out like, "Oh, John Cena's Fruity Pebbles," and Michael Cole, I'm going to shove that anonymous Raw GM laptop straight up your candy ass, and everything else. It was just amazing. It was one of those moments, those ethereal moments that will always exist in wrestling, and that's the best return in my mind.
It was. I will give, because I was waiting. I will give an honorable mention. Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
When he returned to then feud with Triple H and returned to be the greatest in-ring performer of all time, as people like to say.
Yeah.
And because that one's important, which I just want to mention, because was returning, he overcame all of his personal demons, and a lot of people who thought he was just an asshole beforehand now thought he was a person, and that led into stuff like even Brett forgave him late years later and stuff. And it's like, that's cool. Like Shawn had literally improved his life, and when he did, in the ring was just, you can't take that away.
Yeah, very much so. I can agree with that. So fair enough.
Mentioned for you, like the Dudleys returning.
Yeah, okay. I will give credit to when John Cena showed up as number 30 in the Royal Rumble that year when he came back like 2 months early, because that was cool. Even though John Cena, people know John Cena is known for showing up early, returning from injuries. That was just still a cool moment, and that look on Triple H's face when he did it kind of sold it. That was a cool return.
Yep, and I don't know whether I can count this. That's why it wasn't on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Honorable mention: No Way Out. I'm gonna kill what I created. Me and the NWO. When you had the NWO pay-per-view where the letters were spray painted, so no NWO going down.
NWO.
Because it should technically count, because when they were on screen, The Rock did mention straight away, oh yeah, and you were Big Daddy Cool, Diesel, haha.
Yeah.
But it was just cool, like, oh, Nash, Hall, Hogan. Because I loved them in WCW, and I loved them as Razor Ramon and Diesel.
Yeah, that was a big deal when they came back. That's certainly pretty. Yeah, I mean that certainly counts. So that's cool. All right. Well, this has been.
I feel we're going to see more in the future, because they're now doing more and more bigger returns. Like we just had Goldberg come back.
Yeah.
We all know inevitably CM Punk will come back.
Probably, and there's going to have to do some kind of a big return for Finn Balor from his injury soon too.
Yep.
So I'll see how that plays out.
Return.
Yep.
Since he's no longer on apparently he's not in any of the live events since the leaked sex tapes.
Yeah, supposedly the New Day's not going to be probably seen on TV until WrestleMania now.
Or they'll be seen without him.
Yeah, one of the two. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this has been SlamDown. Thank you for joining me, Mo. And we look forward to doing more of these great wrestling-related countdowns. I'm James Phoenix, and we'll see you next time.